The history of surfing. Surfing is one of the oldest practice sports on the planet. Surfing with a wooden board originated in Western Polynesia, Samoa, around 3,000 years ago.
The first surfers were fishermen who discovered that catching a wave to come back to shore was a lot quicker and much easier, especially with their catch. Back in the days, stand-up surfing and lie-down surfing were considered two different sports.
In the 15th century, it is believed that kings, queens, and people of the Sandwich Isles were big into the sport of he'enalu, which means wave sliding in Hawaiian.
Equipment for surfing.
There are many variations of surfboards, but we will talk about these later.
In several areas of the world where surfing takes place, the water can be very cold, so it is essential to wear wetsuits. It depends in which country you are in the water as to the temperature, but there are different types of wetsuits for different temperatures. In some countries, it is necessary to wear surfing boots as the weather can be extremely cold, and this may make you slip, but the shoes help you grip. It is also sometimes necessary to wear surfing gloves to ensure that your hands and fingers don't get frostbite, but the experience will be less enjoyable. If you want to stay warm, make sure to wear a hood, as the most of your body heat leaves from your head.
Surfboard wax comes in so many different styles and so many different colors and so many different smells, but it is important to make sure that you inquire before buying, as there are different styles for your type of surfboard, and using the wrong one could harm your board and experience. When you are surfing, you need to make sure that you have a leash or a leg rope attached to make sure your board does not fly off into another surfer or go back to shore. Safety for surfing.
Always surf in areas that are patrolled by surf lifesaving people. Surf in a designated area for surfers so no one gets hurt, especially swimmers. Always surf under supervision or with a mate. Always take care and read and obey the surf life-saving signs.
Don't surf under the influence of alcohol or drugs. If you are unsure of the do's and don'ts, then ask a lifeguard. If you are in trouble, do not panic. Just raise your arm in a fist and someone will be there to help. Never dive off your surfboard because you don't know how deep the water is and who is around you. Never let go of your surfboard unless there is no one there.
Paddleboarding. Participants propel themselves through the water with their arms while either kneeling or lying on the board. This variation is often used for surf lifesavers. The main sizes of these boards are either stock 14 foot, 12 foot, and unlimited which is usually 17 to 18 foot.
Stand-up paddleboarding. Stand-up paddleboarding is a variety of surfing using a paddle. It has a strong Hawaiian heritage, although being a globally recognized sport. The boards in this sport are usually between 12 to 20 feet.
Shortboarding. Shortboarding is a variation for mostly advanced surfers. These surfboards are usually very maneuverable and have an ideal amount of speed, control, and power, although sacrificing the ease to paddle. Shortboards range from 5 foot 6 inches to 6 foot 4 inches long and are made from strong fiberglass materials. They often also have fins underneath the board at the rear, ranging from 1 to 3 fins, although 4 is not uncommon.
Longboarding. Longboards are also called logs or cruisers. They are a variation of surfing using an 8 to 10 foot board. These boards are good for beginners. making it much easier to catch a white water wave, as well as they are mostly made out of foam, which is less dangerous than fiberglass boards. However, long boards make getting out the back of the break and past the white water much harder.
Conditions for surfing.
Many things can affect the conditions for surfing. Depending on experience and the type of wave one would like to surf, certain conditions may be ideal, while others dangerous to create no decent waves for surfing. Some things that can affect conditions are wind. Swells are created by wind blowing over a very large area of water. This is called a wind's fetch. The swell determines the size and power of a wave. Wind conditions can cause the water to become choppy, which makes surfing harder. The perfect wind condition would be a small offshore wind which blows the front of the wave and slows down the break of the wave.
Tide. The moon's gravitational pull on the Earth causes tidal variations. Tidal variations can change the height of the wave, usually larger when it is high tide and smaller when it is low tide. The best time to go surfing is in the early hours of the day as the waves will be bigger. It is also a good time to go late at night but before it gets dark as the waves are also usually big.
Thank you very much. This was your guide to surfing by Ben and Brandon.